You can be the best employee in your company and still be the first person they fire, not because you failed, but because you became too valuable to keep. And the guy doing nothing, he might actually be safer than you. Before we continue, if this kind of content speaks to you, subscribe. Like the video if you've ever had a quiet realization about your job. And comment where you're watching from. It helps more than you think. Now let's get into it. You've probably seen this before. The hardest worker on the team, always stressed, always fixing problems, always reliable, suddenly gone. No warning, no drama, just, we appreciate your service. Meanwhile, there's always that one guy, logs in late, does the bare minimum, disappears during meetings, and somehow, still there, still getting paid, still surviving every round of layoffs like it's a game. This isn't random. It's not luck. It's a system, and it's called the slacker's paradox, where the more valuable you become, the more dangerous you are to keep, and the less you do, the harder it is to justify removing you. Beat 1. The fragility of the high performer. Imagine this. There's a system at your company that only you understand. Every time something breaks, they call you. Every time there's pressure, they rely on you. Sounds like job security, right? Wrong. Because from your manager's perspective, you're not valuable. You're a risk. Here's why. To leadership, especially finance, you're what they call a single point of failure. If you leave, everything breaks. If you burn out, everything slows down. If you ask for a raise, they have to say yes or risk losing you. So now think about it from their side. You're expensive. You're critical. You're fragile. That's not an asset. That's a liability. Now compare that to lazy Kyle. Kyle does almost nothing. No major responsibilities. No key systems. No pressure. If Kyle leaves tomorrow, nothing changes. So when layoffs come, who's riskier to remove? The person holding everything together or the person holding nothing at all? Exactly. Kyle isn't surviving because he's smart. He's surviving because nobody even remembers what he does. But here's where it gets interesting. Because if being useless was the answer, everyone would just stop working. And that's not what's happening. There's something deeper going on. Beat 2. The manager's hidden incentive, buffer theory. You think your manager's job is to reward performance. It's not. Their real job is to protect their team while hitting targets from above. Now imagine the situation. Head office comes down and says, we need a 10% reduction. No discussion. No debate. Just numbers. Your manager now has a problem. They don't want to lose their best people, but they have to cut someone. So what do? They look for a buffer. Someone they can remove without damaging the system. And this is where lazy Kyle becomes important. Kyle isn't useless. Kyle is insurance. He's the easiest person to sacrifice when things go bad, which means, ironically, he becomes the safest person while things are stable. Think about it like this. You're carrying the whole project. Kyle is just there. When layoffs are announced, Kyle is gone. But before that moment, you're the one under pressure. You're the one being watched. You're the one being evaluated. Kyle? Invisible. Kyle could probably take a 2-hour lunch. And nobody would file a report. You reply 10 minutes late. Suddenly there's a performance conversation. But here's the part most people completely miss. Kyle isn't just surviving because of managers. He's playing a different game entirely. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Beat 3. Expectation trap. Game theory. This is where it gets dangerous for high performers. If you consistently give 110% effort, that becomes your baseline. Now, 100% looks like a drop. 90% looks like a problem. 80%? Now you're slipping. You train the system to expect excellence. And now you're trapped by it. Now look at Kyle. Kyle gives 20% every day. No surprises. No pressure. No expectations. Then one day, Kyle gives 30%. Suddenly, wow, great improvement. Love the energy lately. Keep it up. Same company. Same standards. Different perception. You save the company $50,000? Good job. Kyle sends one email on time. Let's circle back on Kyle's growth trajectory. So, what do you do with this? Do you become lazy? No, that's the wrong lesson. You become intentional. You stop giving maximum effort to everything and start controlling. When you show up and where you show up, instead of being a hero on every task, you become the specialist on critical moments. You don't raise expectations every day. You create contrast. So when you perform, it actually stands out. This isn't about work ethic. This is about game design. You're playing a system that doesn't reward effort, loyalty, or even consistency. It rewards perception, risk management, and positioning. And right now, most high performers are losing because they think working harder is the answer. Let me ask you something. What if the reason you feel exhausted isn't because you're working too hard, but because you're playing the game wrong? You've been told, work hard and you'll be safe. But in reality, working hard without strategy makes you replaceable faster. And here's the shift. You don't need to do less work. You need to do visible, control work, because the people who survive long-term aren't the hardest workers. They're the ones who understand how to manage perception,